Hello and welcome. So today we're going to be answering immigration questions as we do every Tuesday at noon. Any immigration question you have, just put down in the comments and we're going to start answering them for you. So first, my name is Mercer Cawley. I'm a partner here at Cawley Forsyth, and I'm a board certified immigration specialist here in North Carolina. And I'm joined by Raquel.
My name is Raquel Fernandez, and I'm an associate attorney here at Cawley Forsyth, and we're really excited to get back on it on this TikTok Tuesday.
And Raquel was just sharing on TikTok a very exciting experience. So Raquel, why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, this morning I went over to the USCIS Durham Raleigh field office, and I represented a client. He became a U.S. citizen today. It was my first time representing the client by myself. I had been before with Attorney Mercer and also with Jordan, and it was just exciting to be able to go and see how happy the client was. And I actually stuck around and watched him take the oath ceremony and get his American flag, and got a lot of really great pictures. If you're here watching on Facebook, you've probably seen the pictures posted today. And on TikTok, go over to our Facebook page, go over to our Instagram, and you'll see the pictures as well.
Absolutely. So that's awesome. Great experience that you definitely had there. So I've been able to stay for a few oath ceremonies, and those are just really emotional when the person finally becomes a U.S. citizen after working so many years for that goal. So it's pretty special.
Absolutely. And we had people from all over the world at the oath ceremony. So, there was Haiti, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Mexico, and Yemen as well. So a lot of different countries.
Yeah, very exciting. So I was going to say, do we have any questions coming through?
Yep. We've received a lot of really great questions. So to start off, we have a question here from Mendez Neighbor, and he wants to know how he can make an appointment in order to talk about his immigration case.
Okay, so and if you want to make an appointment with us, if that's what you're asking, then the best thing to do is just call our front office, and that number is 704-522-6363. And our consultations initial consultations are free. So we'll be able to walk you through, find out if there are any solutions, and be able to help you in finding out what you are able to do. And one thing that we're really known for is being able to take on and tackle really complex cases. So if you have a complex case and you're just not sure what to do, that's a great place to start, because we're able to give you an analysis and see, yes, there are some things you may be able to do, or there's nothing you can do right now.
Yep. And that information is also listed on our Facebook page. It's on our TikTok page too. The phone number listed in the bio, 704-522-6363. I also have a couple of questions from El Roca Roca, and I think I'm missing a part of his question, but he's asking about center of detention, so a detention center. Possibly he made an inquiry 8 months ago, and he hasn't received a response.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a petition that's pending, and it's been taking a while. And so you made an inquiry with the service center just to find out what's going on, and that's fairly typical. So without more information, I can't really say what's going on, but what we can tell you is that ever since COVID and the shutdown and everything took place, USCIS, they got very backed up. And because of that, a lot of the processes are much slower than they were just 3 years ago. So if you're in a situation where you filed, say, an I-130 or an I-485 or even a work authorization card, all three of those are taking much, much longer than they used to. So if you have a petition that's pending, for instance, a work authorization card, it's not uncommon for those to take 9 months now for you to get a card. For an appointment for adjustment of status, it's not uncommon for that to take a year before you get the interview. So things are taking much longer than they were before. But if you put in an inquiry and you did not receive an email or have not heard from them, I would say put in another inquiry so that way you can at least see if everything is moving forward.
Definitely. And we also have a question here from Selvin Aguilar, and he's asking about a child to parent petition. He has several kids, and he's also including that he paid his taxes for the last 9 years.
Okay. So Sullivan, there are several different things that you can do, but the first one would start with the children can only apply for you once they turn 21. So there are different categories. So if you have this type of relationship, you can file for a visa, or if you have another type of relationship. But for children, the relationship is if the child is a U.S. citizen over the age of 21, then that child can file for a parent. Now, if the parent is in the United States lawfully, meaning they entered with the visa, even if they've overstayed, but if they entered, that the key is the entry. If they entered with the visa, then the child is able to file for the parent, and the parent can file for a green card at the exact same time. Now, if the parent entered without a visa, then that's a different conversation we need to have, because at that point, you're probably looking at having to return to your home country, and there will be some issues with waivers, and so that changes things. But a child over the age of 21 absolutely can file for a parent. But what we can do with it is going to depend on how the parent enters the U.S.
Absolutely. And we also have a question from Cartel Bullies, and this person he says that his petition, his I-130 approved, but then they took too long to apply for the waiver. The case was closed, and he's wondering if the I-130 petition can be reopened.
Okay, so based on that description, I'm going to have to make some assumptions here. So if you hear me and I'm right, that's great. If I'm not right, just put another comment. But I'm assuming that your I-130 was approved. It was sent to the National Visa Center. That's where they start getting it ready to send to your home country. At the National Visa Center, you have a certain amount of time to let them know what you're doing and that you're applying for the waiver and getting everything together. If it's more than a year, then they can close your case and get to a place where it's terminated. So depending on how long it's been terminated, my recommendation is you need to call an immigration attorney immediately, because there are ways that we can get it reopened with the National Visa Center. But if you take too long and they actually destroy the file, there's nothing we can do. But if they just put it in termination, but they haven't destroyed the file yet, there is a chance we may be able to get that reopened. So you need to speak with somebody very quickly so that we are able to, or that person is able to move forward and able to get that fixed. Again, if it has not been destroyed.
Yep. Fingers crossed that you'll be able to get that reopened again. Normally, USCIS or the NVC will send you a letter letting you know that they're taking steps towards closing the case, and you should contact them at least once a year in order to keep it going. I understand that sometimes the I-130 you have to wait years and years, but you do have to maintain contact with the NVC so that they keep it going.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to be filing a waiver, you can notify them, but you need to get the waiver filed so that way it does, you are protected there.
Yep. And we also have a question here regarding parole in place. And this lady asks if her daughter can apply for parole in place for her. Her daughter is 18 years old.
Well, what parole in place is, it's a parole document. And what parole means is that you're allowed into the country even though you may not actually have a visa. So parole in place is even though you're already in the United States, the government goes ahead and treats it like they're paroling you into the U.S. So parole in places are there for a very specific reason. So if your daughter, for instance, is in the military, then yes, there is a military parole in place where she would be able to apply or help you apply for parole in place. you'd be able to get a work authorization card. And then also, once she turns 21, you would then have the ability to be able to adjust your status and get a green card. So outside of military, the only other types of parole in places are what's called humanitarian. And those are a lot more rare because those deal with situations where there's a huge medical condition. And so because of that, the government says, okay, we need to give this person a parole in place so they can get a work authorization card, so they can drive their child, for instance, to certain types of therapy or certain types of treatments. So humanitarian's a lot more rare, but if the child is in the military, then yes, there is something called a military parole in place that would be an option for you.
Yep, and he also said that it's his stepdaughter, but he did get married to the mother before he turned 18. So he said 2 days before 18. So that was cutting it very close.
Yes.
Good. So she would be considered your daughter for immigration purposes. And she is in the Army. So thank you for your service, for her service. We're very proud of her. And if you guys would like to set a consultation to see the next steps, you can give us a call. The number 04-522-663.
And Raquel, I have a question here from Emma. It says that I applied for a fiance visa back in June 7th of 2021. Any idea how much longer the case might take? So Emma, unfortunately, right now, that is one of the processes that has been backed up ever since COVID started. So we are seeing fiance visas, we're seeing them take approximately a year. So hopefully you'll be getting some type of answer this summer in the next few months. I know it can be frustrating because your fiance is stuck outside of the country right now, but at this point you are getting much closer, and we anticipate again that it's taking about a year. Raquel, do you happen to have the processing times open by chance? Okay. And so if you want to, you can go to USCIS, and they list out processing times, and that gives a general idea of how long it's going to take in order for an application to be completed. And sometimes they can say anywhere from 7 months to 3 years. So it's not a lot of help, but we'll check on that and let you know. What we're seeing right now is expected to take at least 12 months.
Yep. What I'm seeing is 10 months to 13 months for K1.
Okay. So 10 to 13. So you're getting pretty close. I would anticipate something May, June, July is when you should get an answer.
So thank you guys so much for your questions, and thank you, Attorney Mercer, for taking the time to answer all of the questions today. We were actually able to get to all the questions, so I think that might be a first.
Yeah, I think it is. That's awesome.
Yep. Well, we'll be back on Friday for the Spanish immigration Q&A, along with Attorney Jordan Forsyth, and we're also live on Facebook Live through La Raza. So we're excited to be back on that on Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And again, any questions that you have and you want them answered, go ahead and join us Friday or next Tuesday at noon. And as Raquel was saying, if you have a situation that you want to discuss a little bit further, just give us a call. And our number is listed right. Is it that way, Raquel?
Right below you.
Right below.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's right below us.
This way, and you point down. Yeah.
Okay. It's right down there. So just go ahead and the number is 704-522-6363. We'd be glad to answer any of your questions.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye.
day.